Good evening or afternoon or morning or whenever you're listening. Welcome back to the Dear John podcast. It has been some time since we've done this thing. I am your host, John Moody, podcasting out of a walk-in closet in Atwater Village, California. Again, it's been some time since we've done this. It's several weeks. It's October. I don't think I've done one since it may have been early September, late August. That is not cool. I've got to get better on this. But I have been very busy. I've looking forward. We may get like a new home here for the Dear John podcast. That's in the works. So we've been doing that. Also, I've been busy. I wrote a couple of short films. They're going to be going on Amazon soon. But right now, we're trying to get through the festival season, so we got them up for a couple festivals. So we'll see what happens with that. But in the meantime, it's good to be back. Thanks for checking it out and tuning in. And again, I will try to get this going on a lot more often, just so y'all know to come once a week and I can answer your questions. Again, the setup of this whole thing is that I give dating and relationship advice. Myself, I am a lifelong bachelor and possible commitment phobe. Don't quite know about that, but I figure, hey, if everybody else give dating advice, I can do the same. So what we do here is you email any dating questions or advice you may have to dearjohnpodcast@gmail.com, and I will read your emails right here on the podcast. So without further ado, let's get started. My first email comes from a woman. Let's open that email. Okay. This one. Dear John, why don't men fix stuff anymore? Women are always expected to cook and do traditional women things, but I don't see many men out here who fix cars or do other stuff. Why is that? Good question. Like when you're dealing with automobiles, one of the reasons may be is that it's a lot more complicated to fix cars now. I've never been that dude that was into like fixing cars and things like that, but there was a time when I would change my battery. I would change my headlight, tail lights, which I can still do. It's a little more complicated with some cars. I used to change my oil. You can't do that anymore. I mean, the way they put this stuff, you kind of have to put the car up on something or get under it in order to get to it. And a lot of these cars have computers now. Women, if we're asking y'all to be traditional and cook, they don't put computers in pans or on stove. Well, I guess stoves do have computers to some extent, but it's not the same thing. And really, in this day and age, why can't a woman fix a car? We do things outside of tradition, like I do laundry, I cook, I clean my place every 6 or 7 months. No, I'm joking. But yeah, so it's just a different game. And plus, I'm reading this. You're from Los Angeles, and LA is a whole different deal. If you're talking about like cats who are like actors and musicians and poets and artists, I mean, maybe dudes down south and in the Midwest, maybe they still spend a lot of time fixing stuff around the house and fixing cars. But none of my boys, we don't do stuff like that for fun. Like, in fact, only a handful of these cats probably have like a toolbox. And I think I was once told like every man should have a toolbox. And I've got some tools. I got a good ratchet set and I got a few things, but it's rare when I actually pull those things out. Again, I used to change my oil. Why do that now? It only costs like $30 to get somebody else to do it. It's time consuming. You got to drain the oil. My Uncle Kenny would be tripping out on me right now, like, you lazy ass. I do this all the time. I do that. That's just that's a 30 a half hour on a Sunday afternoon for me. But it's a different thing now. So my advice to you would be to go down south or go to Torrance or Long Beach. I know folks down there still get into that traditional stuff. The dudes do anyway. They're out mowing lawns and things of that nature. Anyway, next email comes from a fella. Let us read this here. Dear John, I am a musician who does a lot of work in my home studio. I've been dating a woman who wants to bring her dog when she visits. I don't want dog hair, smell, etc. at my place. I told her she could bring the dog and put him in the backyard and he can stay in the backyard while she's at my place. She says the dog will just whine if it's not around her, and then that's not going to be cool. How do I convince her to leave the dog at home? Man, you talking about a woman and her dog, and really men, women, whoever, man. The best thing for you to do to get her to leave the dog at home is you have to start poisoning that dog, man. Not saying kill it, don't kill it. Just give it, so every time he come by, give it something that's gonna make him sick, and then she'll be like, he gets sick every time he comes to your place. He doesn't like. I'm gonna leave him at home, or she'll get a dog sitter, whatever. Man, you can't negotiate with people who are like way into their pets. Because there was a time, this whole pet game is messed up now, man. I'm telling you, there was a time when dogs had a job, and their job was to protect the house. And you can't protect the house if you going everywhere with everybody. When I was coming up, we had a German Shepherd, Lobo, big dog, big German Shepherd, big tail, big bark, big paws. I mean, people don't do that anymore, man. You got these little punk ass dogs everybody got now, man. These little lap dogs, and all they really are just oversized cats, because they protect you pretty much the same way a cat. In fact, it's to the point now where people break in houses, and if people do leave the dogs, people steal the damn dogs, and that dog ain't worth shit. Now, your dog is supposed to protect your property, and you come home and they done wiped your ass out, and they taking the dog. What good is the damn dog? I know I'm gonna get a lot of hatred. I'll get more letters and emails about anything asking me what the hell is wrong with me, but that's just how I feel about it. So I think you're gonna have to come to a compromise with this woman, and the compromise is gonna have to be that you will start dating her friend who don't have a dog, because she gonna bring that dog. She gonna want to bring that dog, and she ain't gonna want the dog to be outside, man. And yeah, you just compromise and date her friend without a dog. That's how you're gonna have to do that one. Okay, let's see what we have here. Next email. Okay, this comes from another fella. Dear John, when we first started dating, my girl said she would engage in a menage-a-trois. She said that she would want to choose the other woman, and I was excited. Well, we've been together for almost a year, and now she wants to renege. She says that she doesn't want to share me with anyone else, and then tries to make me feel guilty by asking why she isn't enough for me. How do I convince her to stand by her word? Man, you just gonna have to give up on this one. It ain't gonna happen. All right. This is something that probably came up early on when y'all were dating, and she probably thought you were joking, and you were dead serious, and you want that menage a trois. But it's not gonna work out. She don't want to have it, and I'll let you know this, man. Every girlfriend that I've had a menage a trois with, it's always ended up with me being more interested in the other woman, or her being more interested in the other woman. Okay, so I don't have menage-a-trois with girlfriends anymore. I only do those on the first dates now. If it goes past the first date, folks start getting jealous. There's feelings involved or whatever. So yeah, no more menage-a-trois with girlfriends or fiance. Well, I've never had a fiance, but anyway, you get the point. So yeah, what you're gonna have to do, man, you're gonna have to finesse this though, because since she did make a promise and she's breaking it, man, this should give you an out for like two things you promise her. So if like you're promising her a trip or something like that, you're just gonna have to like finesse and be like, yo, I can't do this, but you promised me, so you broke a promise too. And you can probably do this. You can probably pull this card like twice before she gets real mad, and it's gonna be a real problem. Because yeah, she gonna want to know why she's not enough. That's a good guilt tactic, man. So you're gonna have to leave it on. And besides, man, I'm telling you what, menage a trois is not all that they're cracked up to be. I just had one just before I started recording this podcast today, right here in my walk-in closet, and it was alright. You know what I mean? So yeah, dude, just go ahead and have your regular relationship, and you'll be cool. You're not missing out on much. All right. Okay. Let's see if we have time for one more. I think we do. This next email asks, Dear John, would you date someone who has different political viewpoints than you do, or different political affiliations? Man, that would be tough in this day and age. I mean, you would like to think that you're mature enough that if you're Democrat, she's Republican, or maybe she's libertarian, or whatever, conservative, liberal, that's going to be a lot tougher to work out. But I don't know, man, because in today's climate, man, folks are so, I can't watch CNN if my girl only wants to watch Fox. That's just going to cause a problem. And even if we watch it on separate TVs, at some point a conversation is going to ensue, and I'm going to tell her that her shit is batshit crazy. No offense to, well, actually, you know what? Listen, man, there's some batshit crazy shit on Fox. But yeah, man, I've actually had this happen before, and I chose not to date him. I had one sister. She was a model, beautiful, man, gorgeous, but she was like really right wing, and this was during a time of like near the Gulf War, and she was convinced that we were right in going to Iraq because she believed that there were weapons of mass destruction, and we got into a verbal thing about that. And a couple days later, she sends me a link to a website that says that the weapons of mass destruction had been found. They weren't found, but Saddam Hussein had dumped them at the bottom of the Euphrates River, and that's why we couldn't find them. And I'm like, wait a second. If your ass know that the weapons of mass destruction are at the bottom of Euphrates River, and this janky ass website know that the WMD's at the bottom of the Euphrates River, then how come the United States government doesn't know that? And it's not like we don't have anything that isn't water resistant or waterproof. It ain't like we don't have frogmen who can go down there and retrieve the weapons of mass destruction, seeing as that would be the proof to everybody in the world that we was right for going there in the first place. So we couldn't date, just because to me she was a little too gullible in believing that. I mean, that, man, you should have seen that website was like the website version of Mother Jones. It was ridiculous. It looked like maybe somebody in high school had did the web design or whatever. But anyway, so yeah, that was tough. And then I had another situation too. I won't go too far into that, but I'll tell you one thing. One woman I did date made me go out and get my ears pierced. I got 2 holes in one ear because she just kept talking about how conservative I was and how she liked me, and that's why she decided to date me, because I was nice and conservative, and I decided I didn't want to attract anybody like that anymore. And I went out and got 2 holes in one ear. And sure enough, one thing that women who are really conservative don't like is tattoos and earrings. And I wasn't going to get a tattoo at that point, but I got my ear pierced. Anyway, that's going to be it for this week. Let's try to get this thing together going next week. Again, a lot of stuff going on. We may be moving to a new home. Keep your fingers crossed. If that's the case, I will let you know. And again, if you want advice, if you have a question, you can send that to dearjohnpodcast@gmail.com. Also, follow me on Twitter at jbmoody716. And also, same thing for Instagram, jbmoody716. That's it. Y'all enjoy the rest of the week, or weekend, or evening, or day, or morning, or lunch, or whenever you checking this out. All right, I'll catch y'all later. Take care.
Fly-ish. Try this on the side. Yeah, bottoms. Big bag of bottoms. Bump for you boys on the block. Okay.